Hey guys, Nathan with LakeExpo, and I am standing on a brand new boat here at Formula Boats of Missouri, just over by the Grand Glaze Bridge. And I've got Mark Niedergerke here. Mark he's a lot of things at Formula Boats actually. But Mark is here to show me this 360 CBR. And this is a brand new boat from Formula. And of course, they brought it to Lake of the Ozarks because why wouldn't you? I mean, this is where it belongs, right?
Absolutely.
So Mark, thanks for having us
Thank you,
on the boat today. And
it is a pleasure to meet you, and we sure appreciate everybody at LakeExpo. And Nathan, I just want to apologize. We've been trying to do this interview all week, but this boat's been out on the water.
Love it.
It's been hard to find time to do this.
That's
so
great.
Finally,
that is a good problem.
It is a very good problem to have.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody. As Nathan mentioned, this is the 360 CBR. CBR stands for Crossover Bowrider. I like to think of that as a bowrider with a cabin,
okay,
which we'll get to in a few minutes. First and foremost, though, I often get what makes Formula boats different.
Right, because we were talking about that. When somebody becomes a Formula person, they rarely, if ever, or anything other than a Formula person.
They never stray.
People go Formula, you don't go back.
Once we get them into our brand, they very rarely ever leave us.
Okay.
I often say, in order to be better, you must be different. So what makes a Formula different? We are all built by hand. We are not a mass-produced boat manufacturer. So what that means to the clients, we're heavier right off the bat. The new 360 is 18,000 pounds dry. In comparison to most others that top out in this size range at 16,000, which means to you in the main channel on a Saturday, you're gonna feel that difference.
Yeah, yeah.
The most common complaint I get on a boat with a platform of this size, the clients, they buy this boat because they love the cove out. They often have issue with the ladder. Formula, listen. So I wanna show you guys right here what we've done to make that easier. Once that goes down, there is another step from the water. You can pull it out, it folds down.
Wow.
To give you easy access right back up onto the platform.
Nice. That's cool. And
what a great new feature.
That just kind of retracted from the underside of the
From the underside of the platform,
yeah,
absolutely.
That's cool. And this is a really spacious swim platform back here, too.
It is. This is where everybody hangs out in a cove out application.
Right,
so,
right.
Very quickly, a lot of our clients, their biggest interest is what powers your boat. On this one today, which is Formula's very first 360, they power it with twin 8.2 max, twin 380 horse on each side. Over the weekend, Formula sent 2 of its exclusive engineers down, along with the gentleman that designed this boat. So we explored all kinds of options. We currently have a client building one with twin 520 Ilmores. We also have another client that has turned his order sheet in late yesterday evening. That boat will be powered with triple 400 Merc outboards.
Wow, so you could put triple outboards on
You can
this.
put triple outboards on this application.
Huh.
You can also do twin 600s. If you want the big new boys, Nathan.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've heard the 600s are actually a huge hit.
They are a huge hit. We actually delivered a 50 SSC, which is the biggest open bow Formula that they produce. And that boat has 4 600 Mercuries on it on Lake of the Ozarks.
Sure.
So,
well, for a 50-footer, you got to
for a 50-footer, you got to have 4.
But you know, for this little old 36-footer, right?
Exactly.
You can go with twins. But so, what was the catalyst for Formula going? Because Formula had a 350.
They have a 350, which is the boat right behind you.
Yeah.
That is a 350 CBR. That boat has been our best seller since it was released in 2013.
Okay, wow.
So what we heard on that boat is our clients are starting to want to cruise a little faster. They're wanting to get up over the 29 mile-an-hour range into the low to mid 30s, even into the low to mid 40s with a boat like this. So the big difference with the 360 hull versus the 350 is we now have double steps in the hull. So they eliminate a lot of the smack at higher RPMs.
Yeah, so people who know what a stepped hull is know that. And
They
people who
do.
don't know what a stepped hull is, a stepped hull is literally the hull, the underside of the boat has, I mean, they almost look like upside down steps.
It
built
does.
into the way the hull
It is
shaped.
built right into the hull, and
Yeah.
it is designed to cushion that landing, you know, specifically above the 3,000 RPM range.
So when you're wanting to get a little faster, it makes it a comfortable ride.
It does, absolutely,
Yeah,
and
okay.
we're going to show you guys that today.
Okay,
So
sweet. We're going to take this thing out.
we're going to take it out. I want to
Nice.
show you guys a couple of other pretty neat things I like about the boat, so jump on board. First off, on all of our boats, underneath this seat is an excellent spot for fenders, dock lines, anything that gets wet I like to throw in there. The motor heat will actually keep that from mildewing when the items do get wet. You're going to notice on the 360 we also have a dive door ladder, and that will go right in here. This is going to catch on a magnet right there.
Nice.
The dive door ladder, but it's also a side entry. So
Yeah.
on Lake of the Ozarks,
Right, right. On the end of the dock there, the side of the dock.
going forward, very wide open, spacious cockpit. Cooler space, probably the #1 priority in the cockpit here on Lake of the Ozarks. One of the neat things Formula did,
Oh, that's cool.
they incorporated a Yeti cooler in here. Formula always goes a couple steps ahead of most other manufacturers. There is actually a drain plug in the bottom of that Yeti. There's a drain plug in the bottom of the compartment, so you do not need to pull it out to drain it.
Brilliant.
Corian countertops, obviously almost everybody has those. On this side, we have a freshwater sink. Over here, we have a grill for people who like to grill out. I probably won't order our first 4 stock 360s with the grill, which just opens this into one big cooler tub that does have a drain. So another super cool feature on our boats, all your battery switches are super easy to get to. You don't have to lift up a seat cushion to turn your battery switches on.
Excellent.
Our fridges on this boat, we have 2. We have this one, as well as another one down in the cabin. Those are dual voltage, so you
Okay.
do not have to be plugged into shore power or run your generator to use them.
Nice.
You can start the boat and immediately they will get cold. So kind of moving forward, obviously we have tons of storage under every seat. I really don't want to get into that yet, you know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the dash here. Couple of really cool things here. You can see the dual Ray Marine screens, which I really like. Garmin would be an option, but we have push button as well as digital switching.
Okay.
Everything is very well thought out, super easy to use. You have your Rockford Fosgate audio, your Smart Craft from Mercury, and of course the joystick to take all the guesswork out of docking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you play with that when we
Okay.
get the boat out and take it for a ride. Let's get you guys down to the cabin. So this is climate controlled. So it has air conditioning as well as heat. You do not have to get the sink application. Right here, this is an option. If you do not want this, we will just make this couch go all the way to this wall. We try to utilize every square inch of our boat. So our distribution panel's right behind the seat, super easy to get to, super easy to work. You also have a full-size berth right back there with all kinds of neat accent lighting. And then in this compartment, we have a wet head with a shower, microwave fridge. Speaking of ice cold air, cockpit air conditioning is also an option. On the first few stock boats we build, we will include that.
Nice. Good idea.
Yes.
Hot summer, July. Steamy
Absolutely.
days, man, people with cool air coming. That is amazing to have a Bowrider with that much cabin space.
That
down
much
there.
usable
That's
space.
Wild.
They utilize every square inch of this boat.
No kidding. I mean, like, it's not just a little couch, but you have like a whole berth down there.
You do.
That's wild.
It's fascinating,
It's
absolutely, guys. We can close that.
Yeah.
I'll move forward real quick, and you have a pretty large storage compartment right here. Good place for extra bumpers. Right behind here. Real good place for the hose for the anchor washdown. Extra dock lines. Our filler cushions for the bow stow in these two compartments.
This is my seat here.
We have a couple cockpit tables that go right into those inserts. Those stow right here. But what we have is, for kiddos like yours, if we put the short poles on them, we can put one filler cushion here so 3 of them can face towards the bow with their
Nice.
feet up.
Yeah.
A lot of times I see that because that allows the captain to get up to the windlass without having to climb across a filler cushion.
Sure.
If the captain does not care about that, another filler cushion goes here, here, and a backrest that slides right through there just to make it all
Just a
one
whole, like, giant
gigantic
couch
sun
up
pack.
here, yeah.
It
Nice.
is.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool. Those are cool options.
If you like to cove out, I like to spend a lot of time talking about our windlass anchors. Right now, Formula is one of the few. That is all chain. Most manufacturers will give you 6 feet of chain and 200 feet of rope. This is 150 feet of chain, so every time you drop that to cove out, it's gonna hold the boat.
Wow. Nice. And nobody coves out around here though, so yeah, that's not needed, right?
Plenty of cooler space here.
Yep.
And lots of other storage under the other seats. So let's take it for a spin. He said, do you want to drive or do you want me to drive? And I said, I want to see what Formula's best can do here on Lake of the Ozarks. I said, are you up to the task? And he says, I've been all over Hullover Inlet in this boat. I said, then it looks like you're driving.
Nice.
When I demo a Formula, I don't want my clients to come at 9 a.m. I want them at 2 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I want to take them from the Grand Glaze Bridge to the Community Bridge and back, which is what I consider the roughest part of the lake.
Right.
So anyways, we were coming out with Formula's engineers and their designer, and I didn't say anything, but the poker run was coming down this way, so I told Dave, make a left. Let's throw him right into what Lake of the Ozarks looks like. His eyes were that big. But here's the one thing that I witnessed when Abe was driving the boat into that madness. He was going 41 miles an hour and never laid off the throttle. And this boat did not do any of that. So it's fascinating. They have a 600,000 square foot manufacturing facility, and like I said, 4 brothers and a sister all hold executive positions in the company. So when we had our event for this boat last weekend, one of my longtime great clients that's bought 4 boats from me, this will be his 5th, he's 6'4". So when he was standing under this, he said, I need another inch. So one of the senior engineers and the designer from Formula Boats in Decatur, Indiana, unbeknownst to me, hopped on their phone. 30 minutes later, when Bob and I kind of had a break in our presentation of the boat, the chief engineer came over and he said, I can get you an inch. I said, how can you get me that inch that fast? And he said, I just got off the phone with Grant Porter, who was the vice president of Formula Boats. I don't really think anybody else on the lake can tell a story like that, specifically because it was on a Sunday.
That is wild. That is awesome.
That is the Porter family. So 4 brothers and a sister all hold executive positions at the plant. Been to a lot of boat factories in my day. You see some disgruntledness with the workers. There's gel coat, there's fiberglass. Most plants, the conditions aren't the greatest. At Formula, most of them are related in one capacity or another. Nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. Their average length of ownership well exceeds 10 years. Most of them, like the 2 guys that came to help me last weekend, they've been with the company 30 and 35 years.
Wow.
Each.
Wow. Yeah, that's significant, because when you have that level of like family connection and depth, you have people that care on another level about the company, about the quality of the boat, like about the clients.
Absolutely.
Have seen clients go through different Formula models over the years and get feedback from them and work that into
100%
design. And
do.
That's a big deal.
And they listen to the feedback and they adapt. And
yeah, I mean, literally raising the roof by an inch.
Yes.
That's awesome. And you were saying, like, you were showing me how they did that. It was like, well, they came here and they raised this. And they like that level of customization.
It's just awesome,
incredible.
you guys. And if you noticed, I tried to hit some big waves. A lot of hardtops do this. This hardtop did not move. This is Formula's first boat. It's not dealership owned. So when they gave it to me, they said, we're going to go out and see how you boat. It was Saturday and Sunday of the shootout weekend, so I showed them how I boat and how I demo, and it sure did pass the test.
Nice.
So
yeah, I mean, Formula got done building this, and they brought it to Lake of the Ozarks to put it through the paces.
They did, absolutely.
That's amazing. Like that, I just think that speaks volumes. I mean, the Lake of the Ozarks is a boating destination like no other place.
Sure.
And I love that even the guys that came were kind of in awe.
They were in awe,
lake.
especially
That's
Nathan.
Great.
Saturday, I put them in our 430 open bow, bigger
yeah.
version of this, and I sent them to the shootout. So
Very
they
cool.
were grinning ear to ear for a couple of days after that.
And this was the guy who designed, like the chief designer for this boat, that was his first time to ride in it, right?
That was his
at the
first time to ride in the finished product. His name is Michael Young. He is replacing John Adams, who was the exclusive designer for Formula Boats for just over 50 years.
And also a president of the United States. At one point.
Yeah, exactly.
Same
You'll
guy.
never forget his name because of that.
Right.
But John kind of took Michael, showed him the ropes, what he liked, what he felt worked, what he felt didn't work. As I was visiting with Michael, great young man, got a great family, sure got a heart of gold. One of the other Formula guys told me he built a race car. He designed a race car that won at Le Mans. So you can Google that and read the story because it's fascinating.
That's cool. And we talked a little about Formula's deep history being a really storied history and a very old company that had some, it didn't start out as Formula Boats.
That's correct.
But Formula has been building fiberglass. How long did you say?
The model year 2026 will mark 70 years for Formula building glass boats. So their heritage kind of came from that long-nose race style boat. So you take a boat like this with a double step toll that just helps smooth the ride, and then you combine that with a tank, and this is the end result.
The double step toll is, you were saying, it's like the racing world really understands and appreciates it. That's where it came out of that space, because you got to be able to handle some stuff.
You do.
When you're racing.
You
and so
do.
that double stepped hull actually helps that. You see that on some boats that'll run in the shootout.
Absolutely.
Actually, and stuff. And so that actually got built into something that's not fundamentally a race boat.
Correct.
It's a pleasure boat, but can handle some stuff like a race boat can.
That is correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you say a tank, I mean, we're talking literally like a ton more in weight.
A ton
than
more
a
in
comparable, boat from another manufacturer.
Yes. So the stories I have about that are pretty endless in my career with Formula. I just recently picked up a 36-foot boat from another manufacturer, and I drove it 20 miles up the lake to our dealership, and I quickly discovered that our 33-foot CBR rode better than that 360.
Wow.
So all of that is attributed to all being built by hand and that extra weight in the hull. So,
and when we got up on plane on this, I mean, the nose hardly rose at all.
there was minimal bow rise.
I couldn't quite tell when we were on plane.
Exactly.
We were just going.
And this is
amazing.
Demonstrated with you guys, like I mentioned earlier, with the base power. So it's only going to get better from there.
Right.
But
yeah, you put those twin 600s on the back.
yes. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.